minds in the zone. I wanna be one of the greatest that ever made it, one of the best that did it, coming with it. Understand this is all I think about, all I ever wanna do, all I ever work for. So ain't no giving up, and us to the limit just to win it is a must. Now you see what it takes to be on top, don't stop. Now you see what it takes to be on top, don't stop.
Bryant for the win.
He is a remarkable talent. I mean, he got into one of those zones, and I've said it many times. It's all right for regular players to get in a zone, but when you're the best player and you get in a zone, that shouldn't be fair. And it wasn't fair.
Access, watch the progress, can't be done, man, I'm the champion.
Worldwide Laker talk, worldwide Laker gang for life. I'm in a good mood because we had a Mamba moment, so we had to bring y'all the show here on Mamba Monday. Bro, I mean, before we even get into everything, I just want y'all initial reaction of that Anthony Davis 3. I just need that first.
You go ahead, B.
Man, I was like, it gave me those good memories we had, like, you know, growing up, just watching them Laker games, them close Laker games, them playoff games, and you get that shot. Cause we didn't see so many great players over the last like 7 years of teams that ain't the Lakers. And we like, oh, we get excited and shit, but it's not the same feeling. It's not the same just like joy when one of your players hit a game-winning shot or a big shot in the playoff. And we had a buzzer beater. Not only we back in playoff for the first time in 7 years, we had a great moment that's gonna be lived on and be showed for years and years and years. And it was great to be back in that mode. Be like, yeah, we got a moment now. We ain't had one in so long, you know. So long.
Like not even one that matters, because regular season buzzer beaters ain't nowhere near the feeling of this. Quincy, what's your initial reaction of the AD buzzer beater?
You know, I was a lot more calmer than I actually thought. My initial reaction was like, this is what we brought you here for. I just feel like AD really haven't got the credit or the appreciation or the recognition of his game.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to become a Laker and be in that limelight to prove, you know, who you are. And, you know, with his relationship that he had with Kobe, with the uniforms they were in, it just seems fitting that AD was the one knock down that shot. So yeah, I was happy, but I was like, this is what we brought you here for.
Well, let me tell you a feeling that I had in the last minute that I haven't had in a very long time. Even when Joker hit that 3 and they went up by 1, I did not feel like we were going to lose the game. Oddly, and I haven't felt that in a long time. I felt like, you know, usually when that happens, and especially in the last 6 or 7 years, you've been like, all right, that's it. We lost this one. When that happened, I was like, we got a dude in that huddle right there. The same way I felt when we had Kobe and Shaq, and even we had Kobe and Powell, because Powell would hit some big shots too. I was like, we got dudes in that huddle who will hit shots and ain't afraid. Because look, Caruso missed that 3, but he took it with confidence. I would let him take that 3 again, the one that he missed. I would let him take that again. I don't feel like he blew it. I just feel like it was a missed shot. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like we got a lot of dudes on the team who are really, really confident, who are ready to take the challenge. Because you got guys who ain't never not only been in the Western Conference Finals, you got dude who ain't in the playoff, ain't never been in the playoffs, playing hard, playing big throughout these moments, man. And look, we didn't play our best game last night. Like last night wasn't even a great game for us. There were a lot of things that we could have done better. But in the funny thing, what bad as we played, we damn near had them beat the whole fourth quarters, like whole fourth quarters.
I think because I think we had 24 turnovers.
24 turnovers.
And my guess would be probably 18 was unforced. So it's not like Denver defense was causing these turnovers. It was Kuz dropping passes out of bounds that Rondo was delivering. I think that happened like 3 times. It was just a whole bunch of like just stuff like that. So it wasn't nothing. I think where the confidence was coming from, that it wasn't nothing that Denver was doing to cause us
to lose,
to lose or to make the mistakes that we were making. A lot of those was like unforced turnovers that we were doing. But in the end, they stuck it out. I was excited to see, whereas Jokic scored, AD went right back with a floater. Like, okay,
yep.
And so that took me back to the Magic and Kobe. Okay, Larry Bird, you score, I'm gonna come back and score. Or Kobe, Tim Duncan, you hit a shot, I'll come back and I'll fire off one myself. I'll come back and score. I'm right here with you. So it was a good feeling to see a Lakers star to be able to say, hey, you know what? I come right back at you. And it was fitting that the last shot, that's exactly what he did.
Yeah. And like you said, 24 turnovers. A lot of it was stuff like LeBron was like horrible in that fourth quarter. Like he just was falling, dropping the ball. Like it was so many things that he did. And I think the quality of a good championship team, in my opinion, is the quality to win ugly games, right? Like the quality to be able to win ugly, even when you need to and when you have to, because it's easy for a front running team or a high scoring team to win those games that you in front. Everything feels good. Everything is easy. But I feel like what builds the grit, what builds that character of the championship team, and we saw this the most in that 2010 Celtics Lakers finals. Yeah. Like we saw it the most is that being able to win ugly, being able to pull it out in ways that you're not used to, being able to pull it out in things that's not the usual character of your team. Those, to me, that's what makes a great championship team. And I think we showed some of that yesterday in the game. So I feel like that this game gave us some momentum, because I feel like splitting 1 and 2 would have gave the Nuggets a lot of confidence, right? But taking 1 and 2, because all the other times they came back from 3 down, they split 1 and 2. Like they split 1 and 2 and then we'll lose like 2 after that. But I feel like we got some confidence. They looked a little defeated after that shot, because I feel like we took their best punch and we won. What do you see in the body language of the Nuggets? Do you think we took a little momentum? Do you think we took a little fight for them? Or do you think they continue to be the comeback kids and keep fighting until we try to sweep? I think we got to try to sweep them out of here. What you think, Brandon?
That shot, I think, took a little bit of the wind out of them. We're going to see how they come out in game 3, but just their initial body language. I mean, because when you playing that well and you seconds away from winning, it's like, you know what I mean? It takes a little bit out of you when you know what I mean? So
that was heartbreak. That was heartbreak.
Yeah. So it's I commented on one of the videos that you posted, like when the shot went through one of the players. I don't know who it was exactly. Punched the ball as it came through. Like he was just pissed off the ball went through. You know what I mean? Like Mason Plumlee, that type of stuff can get in your head for the rest of the series. Mason Plumlee is going to be talked about in private film sessions. Like, bro, why did you lag off of AD like that? We'll break that play down later on, more detail. But Mason Plumlee can be in his head for the next, however many games in this series, overthinking and not playing the same way because of that play he made, that one play that he made that kind of cost him the game. You know what I mean? So I do feel maybe it'll be in their head, but you can't count them out because they were down 3-1 twice. So I'm not right now. Initially, I'm saying it, but I want to see how they come out in game 3 and then really analyze if I feel that they've been kind of defeated a little bit.
What about you, Quincy? What you think?
Yeah, no, I think tomorrow will be the dagger game. I think because Denver has done it twice already, that they would still come in tomorrow with some confidence, thinking that if they can make the series 2-1, and 2-1 is still pretty good, a pretty respectable series. I think for the Lakers to really have them on the ropes,
we got to go up 3-0.
Got to go up 3-0 because then it was settle in that they I mean, right now it's already is a hard task that they have to beat us 4 out of 5 times. But I think tomorrow Denver's still mindset is like, look, if we could get this thing to 2-1, then the next game we just plan for a top.
Right.
But if they lose tomorrow, we got to beat these dudes 4 straight times. And I just think that just mentally and realistically that they don't believe they could beat the Lakers 4 straight times.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's a great point because I mean they've been like if they win tomorrow, right, and they go up 2-1 like Q said, and then we win game 4 or game 4, and then we up 3-1. They ain't nowhere we ain't never been before. You know what I mean? So that's the point that Q. You know what I mean? They like shit. We've been here before. Like we ain't in uncharted territory before. You get down 0-3, you like damn. We ain't never been over here before. It's looking a little different. You know what I mean? So
and no one has ever done that. I mean, you can look at history. People have been down 3-1 and came back. Nobody have ever been down 0-3 and came back. So.
No, it's not gonna happen either. I thought it may happen in a bubble because there's no home court advantage. But even who was down 0-3 and almost came back? Was it Toronto and they couldn't do it? So I mean, history was not on their side either. So even with no home court, you still couldn't get it done. So yeah, man.
I think some of our because a lot of our bench didn't play well yesterday. LeBron played well in the first half. Not really. He was trash in the second half. I don't think that happens again. I don't think all the factors that would have led to Denver being able to steal one yesterday, I don't think that happens again tomorrow. Maybe in game 4, but I feel like that doesn't happen again tomorrow. I feel like guys going to come out to play. Guys going to come out to try to take care of the ball. But that brings us to our first Mamba detail of the night. They were able to keep it close, and they erased a 10-point deficit late in the fourth quarter. How was this team able to keep the game close, and can they do it again? Because to me, that's the thing we have to worry about is those guys raging back in the fourth quarter. Can they do it again? And what can we do to stop that? Quincy.
Stop. I mean, free throws and turnovers. If you put them on a free throw line, you're giving them points while the clock is stopped.
Yeah.
If you turning the ball over, you're giving them extra possessions and you're not scoring. So I think free throws and turnovers. In game 1, the referees let us play.
Mm-hmm.
So that really was beneficial to guys like Dwight who play physical. Game 2, the referees didn't let us play as physical. So we is catching ourselves in a bonus.
Every quarter.
Yeah,
we were in the bonus early.
We was in the bonus at the 7-minute mark in the fourth quarter. And
they didn't get in the bonus till 1 minute in like 2 of the quarters. I watched like 1 minute 30 seconds left. We didn't get in the bonus till 1 minute 30 seconds.
So you turning the ball over, and I just looked between Rondo and LeBron had 11 turnovers.
Yeah, that's too many from your point guards.
LeBron had more turnovers than he had assists, which is rare. So I don't think Denver is going to see LeBron have more turnovers than assists probably again this series. So it was just the turnovers and the fouling. You can't put them on the line. That's stopping the clock and that's giving them points.
What about you, B? What you think?
I mean, for me, like everything that Quincy said, I agree with. Like we always pretty much on the same page, as all three of us. But what I saw too, and Q spoke on it earlier, and I think you did too, Damon, unforced turnovers. Like we played our worst game. You know what I mean? So that was the game where you can kind of sneak in and get that win. But that's on itself. You know, I don't know if the Lakers were just have one of those games. You know what I mean? Just one of those games where the ball just doesn't bounce your way, or whatever the case is. Some of the passes that LeBron normally make and Rondo normally make would just go out of bounds and just cause, ridiculous amount of turnovers. I don't think we had 24 turnovers that many times throughout the regular season. So you can't expect that to happen again, and that will correct itself, and we'll have more possessions just based off that. But two, we talked about it after game 1. Dwight did a great job one-on-one with Jokic. And because the refs rep the game a little bit differently, we didn't get to see that much of Dwight one-on-one with Jokic.
Right.
And Jokic is stronger than I thought, you know what I mean? So he was doing some things against AD and against JaVale that I wasn't particularly had seen before in previous regular season games and even in the first game of the playoffs. So, and then also I want the Lakers to not do the whole switch every time thing, because there were a few times where like we switched on and Rondo was guarding Jokic.
Yeah.
And, Caruso was guarding. I'm yelling at the TV like, bro, what are you like? That's barbecue chicken. Then that forces us to go double team Jokic, which we said we don't want to do before the game, before the series started and before game 2. we don't want to double Jokic, and he was able to get 9 assists off of those double teams when we got the switch on him. So just keep the one-on-ones, you know what I mean, with our bigs on them. And, you know what I mean, shit, we got, you know, what, 18 fouls between AD, JaVale, and Dwight. I don't want AD to get fouled out, obviously, but I mean, you know,
and Markieff Morris.
And Markieff as well, yeah. So,
yeah.
I mean, you know, rotate those guys in and play one-on-one, utilize those fouls if, you know, the ref's going to call the games like that and just tire Jokic out instead of letting them get those switches and those assist opportunities to everybody else.
I know we talked about before the last pregame, we talked about what Mike Malone would do in the way of adjustments. What did you guys see in the way of adjustments? And do you think those adjustments were one of the reasons that they were able to stay in this game? Or do you think it's more or less what we're saying, turnovers and fouls, and not being able to have Dwight play his game one-on-one against Jokic? Quincy.
Well, the one small adjustment that he made is actually what I kind of mentioned. I said he's going to start setting screens for Jokic. And there were several times where they came over, they gave a screen to AD or to Dwight or whoever was on Jokic. And that's how we ended up with that switch, because they were sending a guard over there to switch. And then that's how Caruso or Rondo or somebody ended up on Jokic. So it was the screen. It's just, you know, Lakers going to have to move their ass and recover a lot faster to get back. And not you know, allow those mismatches to happen. So that was the only adjustment I kind of expected that, because Jokic was having a hard time. Trying to get by them, drive by them in game one. So I kind of figured that he was going to try to set some more screens for him.
What about you, B?
Yeah, and Quincy, once again, with the coach's eye, had called this before game 2 when we had said what adjustments can Denver make. He said the last show that he thinks Malone would use more screens. I mean more zones. And we saw more zone action on the defensive end as well, like Quincy called that before. So you saw a lot of where Jokic was kind of at the top sometimes in a 1-2-2 type zone, which is weird. And then he would drop back and, you know, cover that space. And that caused a lot of turnovers because they weren't used to having that big body at the top of the 3-point line waiting on him with Jokic. And then he would drop back into the paint and they would rotate the zone around. So that caused us, when you see Jokic at the top, you naturally want to throw the ball to the post because you think it's open because Jokic is at the top of the zone. But the way that they were moving and rotating over, it was like causing turnovers. He would drop back right in time to cause a turnover, get a deflection or something like that. So that zone that they played a lot in the second quarter and third quarter kind of got him back into the game as well, causing turnovers. So I think Lakers got to look at that zone. And Rondo watches a lot of film, so he'll see the mistakes he made and where the pass lanes are at in that zone and with the screens that they were setting for Jokic and make adjustments based off that.
Yeah, and also, you know, just to go back, you know, speaking of Joker, are you seeing some things from him so far in this series that you haven't seen? Are you impressed with him? Are you unimpressed? Are you feeling like he's the guy you thought he was, or do you feel like he got more in the tank? He gonna show us something in the next couple of games? Quincy.
No, his basketball IQ is a lot better than I thought. He's a smart basketball player. You know, he started to use Dwight's aggressiveness against him, so Dwight has to be careful getting caught up in that stuff. But no, his basketball IQ is a lot better than I thought. Everything else I already kind of knew. He's a good passer, but I think that the Laker bigs being able to move their feet like they do tend to frustrate him because he can't really get the spacing that he wants, especially on his 3-point shot. That's why he haven't really shot threes against yet, because our bigs are not giving him that space, and when he try to blow by him, he can't. That's why he's getting the screens.
What about you, B?
With me, we've been able to see a lot of Jokic, and then I watched a lot of the Clipper series as well. So I was able to see like he got some smarts and some good passing that I didn't know he had. Well, watching these last 2 games, I see he got more like more moxie, more swag than I thought he did. He's quiet, But I'll see him jawing back at Dwight, you know what I mean? Quietly or whatever the case is, or like we mentioned earlier, Dane, how back in the day, players would go back and forth with each other scoring. If you score, I score. Whenever AD went down to score, he like, hey, bro, I match your bucket and go back and score too. So that's like a lot of confidence or, swag that I didn't think he had. You know what I mean? He's not going back down from the moment. He's not going back down from AD. He feels like I belong here. And having that mentality where you don't feel like the moment's too big for you, that's why I see why now they were able to come back from 3-1, because if your best player has that I'm not going back down mentality, the whole team, gravitates around that and take on that personality as well. So I learned that from about Joker.
Okay. For me, I think I'm seeing a lot of what I thought I was going to see. I feel like he hasn't really surprised me yet. He's actually played up to my expectations. And yesterday specifically, I can't give him too much credit. I feel like he got bailed out with a lot of fouls, because in the first half he had, I want to say 14 points, but 8 of them came from the foul line. So how much of that was really his skill or his aggression, or how much of that was some of him getting bailed out? Because 2 of the fouls I saw, I was like, come on, dog. Like, you know what I mean? Like a couple of them, I was just like,
but that's savvy though. Like that's savvy. Like he's learning he's a superstar and getting those calls. Like, I mean, like I hate it because, sometimes the refs do bail these players out. But if you're, smart enough to see the way the refs are calling the game in that particular game, then, hey, I mean, you got to do it. You got to take advantage of it. And it's up to our players to see how the refs are, repping the game and make their adjustments as well. If the White sees I'm getting these ticky-tack fouls, don't reach. It was a couple of times like the White's reaching way out, in 3-point line. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, you're not going to get a steal. What do you know what I mean? Adjust to the adjustment. You know what I mean? Sometimes I feel the White tries to make the great play instead of the fundamental play sometimes. And that's, been the way with him his whole career. Make the fundamentally sound play as opposed to trying to make the big, over highlight play and, just play regular, regular basketball. So that's what I mean by, Jokic having that savvy, that moxie to kind of feel for the game that I didn't think he had. I thought he was just like a guy that's just like a robot, just get in, make the right pass, make the right play, hook shot here, mid-range here. But he has a little bit of savvy where he kind of can read the game and get in players' heads. If you see Dwight's head, he's not in the game, he's getting texts and stuff. Let me go at him a little bit more and press him some more, get him out the game or something like that, So
Right. Okay, I guess I'll have to try to agree with you a little bit on that. I could dig that. Now, we've had some stinkers in the first round. We had a stinker against Portland Trail Blazers. We lost that game. We had a stinker against Houston Rockets. We lost that game. Now we had a stinker against the Denver Nuggets, and we actually won that game. Do you think that is a product of us getting better as the playoffs go? Do you think that is a product of us learning, how to win ugly, like we said earlier? Or do you think there's a product of just like getting more experience as we go into playoffs? You get deeper, you start to get better, and the team starts to peak. What do you think, Quincy?
Yeah, I think. Well, the Portland, we were still trying to find our rhythm after getting back into the bubble, and then with Houston, we had to get used to play to a whole different style than what we was just, got through playing with Portland, who had a big man in Whiteside. Now we got, Coverton, who is actually a small forward playing center. And, it took us a game to adjust to the speed in that matchup. I think this series is a little different because this matchup is not something we really have to adjust to. They kind of have to more adjust to us. So although we didn't play our best, like I said, if you play decent defense, rebounds, and make your free throws, you'll still have a chance to be in any game. So, and that's what we did. I thought our defense, for the most part, was pretty good, except with the fouling. We out rebounded them by 13, and it's actually a game that every free throw mattered because normally we don't go 18 for 19 from the free throw line.
Right.
And, I think actually that was the difference. I know Plumlee gonna get the hit for that last shot, but me and Verb was on the post talking, about Malone leaving that rookie in, and him missing 4 free throws. Because if he make those free throws, AD not in position to hit that shot at the end. So those basic things. Although we didn't 24 turnovers, etc. But I thought we played solid defense for the most part. We rebounded well, and we made our free throws. And I think that's why, despite it not being our most prettiest game, we were still in it to give our chance, to give ourselves a chance to win.
And that's all you can do, be in it at the end and give yourself a chance to win. Like I said, they played the worst game. So listen, Anthony's buzzer beater breakdown. Let's break down that whole play, because I know we said we're going to talk about that later. I know, Quincy, you maybe go to this right now because you talked about Mason Plumlee and what happened in that play. So let's break it all the way down, what you guys saw from your perspective and your point of view. Brandon, give me that fan perspective. Quincy, give me that coaching perspective of the breakdown that you saw. Go ahead, Brandon.
Hey, from the fan perspective, I was just relieved that we got the shot, because before that we had a shot attempt and it didn't go in. I forgot who shot it. I was so into the game. But we got the rebound, and then Danny Green, who I didn't want shooting the shot, went up for the attempt, and luckily, some Laker luck, got blocked out of bounds with 2.1 left. So we get to go again. Now I'm just sitting on the edge, and I'm thinking like, okay, we got to try to get LeBron going to the rim. You know what I mean? Because he don't want to shoot, but we got to get him going to the rim. So I'm watching LeBron, and didn't really see that Rondo had checked back in. He was inbound on the ball. I didn't see any of that. I just saw LeBron, and then it went over him to AD, and the shot goes up. You get that moment of like, and then it just went in. And I was at my mother-in-law's house for her birthday, and the whole house was screamed. You get that that joy that you had when you was a kid or when you was younger, just watching it. So from a fan perspective, holding my breath, and then the shot dropped, that was awesome, man. It brought back a lot of fun memories, man.
All right, Quincy, go ahead and give me the coach's perspective and what was the breakdown and what happened.
Well, it was Caruso that shot the 3 from the top of the key, but I actually thought he had enough space and time to go to the hole strong. We was down by 1. So we didn't really need a 3. So I thought if he just would have just, with that much space and lane, he could have went to the basket hard and tried to dunk it and put the pressure on the referees to call a foul. Caruso, is a decent free throw shooter for the most part. But then, like you said, Caruso missed. Danny Green gets the rebound, goes back up, and gets blocked out of bounds to the Lakers. I thought, well, first to kind of set everything up, the fact that I have to get a Lakers coaching staff props for how prepared the team was to be in that situation with no timeout and everybody know what the play is. I don't think people really giving them enough credit that there was no timeout and everybody knew in that situation what they needed to do and what we were going to run. And then for Rondo, and we talked about, when we was comparing and contrasting the Lakers and the Clippers, and we all three of us agree that the biggest difference, it was leadership. And I think a prime example of that was yesterday when Rondo goes to Frank Vogel and said, "Hey, do you want me in as a passer?" And Vogel go, "Hell yeah." So he takes Caruso out, subbing Rondo. And all those that was so key because Rondo delivered a pass to AD that all AD had to do is shoot. If that pass is a little behind, too high, Jokic have time to recover, and AD probably don't get as good of a look that he got.
Right.
So the play was originally for LeBron. The catch it over the top. I think what happened, and now when I first saw it, I was like everybody else. I was like, what the hell Plumlee was doing? But as I saw another video this morning, he actually communicate with Jeremy Grant, and he's telling him like, "Look, we gonna switch." So what was supposed to happen? Plumlee was supposed to run over to LeBron. Jeremy Grant was supposed to take away that pass and just go straight across. And because if you see how that pass was, Grant he probably would have stole the ball based in the position, but his head was turned. So they actually communicate before the play. But like someone said, if it's no screen, then it's no scheme. And so, and Kendrick Perkins made a good point. And this where you just have to say how gifted of a player AD really is. They don't teach big men to locate and trail their man off a wheel. Coming off a wheel to catch and shoot a 3-pointer. That's not what big men do. Like Kendrick Perkins said, that's some shit you run for Ray Allen. That's something you run for JJ Redick. So the fact that the Lakers got AD, a 6'11", running a wheel to catch the ball for a 3-pointer, Plumlee ain't used to that shit. That's not what
Right.
6'11", 7-foot dudes do. That's where we just gotta. I know people Plumlee dimmer this, they blew it, but you gotta give props to AD for just being a damn freak. The fact that you could run that play with your 6'11", 4 or 5, and he catch that shit like a guard and shoot a 3. That I think that just really just they didn't expect that.
Well, I think they just knew that they were going to try to throw a lob for AD, and I think that's why they dropped down.
Well, the play was for LeBron to get it, because if Plumlee doesn't come over, LeBron actually got a wide open lane to the right side, and in 2 seconds, LeBron gonna get to the bathroom and try to dunk.
Right.
So I think that's what Plumlee was reading. Like, let me run to his right side, push him away from the basket, because you remember, to push him away from the basket, and then Grant goes and he be the one to flash out and contest the shot.
Right.
But since Plumlee ran, because you could tell they didn't expect AD to catch the 3 off of Will,
Yeah. I didn't expect it.
Yeah, like because that's not something you run for your 6'11" player.
Yeah.
And the fact you got to give your hats off to, first of all, Frank Vogel just realizing, and we actually talked about this when everybody was saying that AD wasn't being aggressive, and because he was just putting AD on the block and people just wanted AD to post up, and it was 3 defenders on him before he even had the ball. And we actually said on, I think, our first show that he got to start using AD's gifts.
Yep.
Giving him the ball and touches in different places, having him constantly moving without the ball, working the mid post, like completely using his full arsenal versus just continue to put him on a block and think you're going to just dip it in, throw it into him, because teams are not allowing it. And yesterday was a prime example, because Denver was not expecting our 6'11" power forward. He was a 5 at that point.
Yeah.
He was our 5 coming off a wheel to catch it at the elbow and shoot a 3-pointer. And like I said, it was so many things. The team for being prepared, Rondo speaking up, because I don't know if Danny Green still make that, or Caruso makes that pass that well, to have the patience and not rushing and throw it in.
Yeah, because they said Rondo made all the reads first. Even before he went to AD, they said Rondo looked, and they said you could look. They showed it in slow motion. You could look and see he's making all the reads. And to me, that's just the one of those unspoken things, one of those things you're not going to see show up in the statistical block, that people not going to notice about what Rondo does for this team and what he has been doing for this team. There's so many things that you can't put on a statistic sheet. And I know people used to laugh when Vogel said Rondo brings us the swag that we don't have. And people was like, what does that mean? Especially like the media, white media commentator. And I'm like, I know what he means. What he's saying is he does all the little things that don't show up in the box score. And it's not even the little things like just 50-50 balls. It's not that. It's little things that only him and certain other upper echelon point guards see and know how to do it.
Because what Rondo does, Rondo gets a lot of hockey assists. And for those who don't watch hockey, a hockey assist, they're counted as an assist if your pass leads to the pass, that leads to the score.
Right.
So there's two passes before the score. The first pass is also considered an assist because it set up the assist that set up the score. So they call that a hockey assist. And so Rondo gets a lot of those. In the NBA, they don't count. You don't get, no stat for that. But he definitely sets up the pass that definitely leads to a score a lot of times. And if they did count hockey assists, he'll probably have like 19 assists a game.
Yeah, man. Well, speaking of that great buzzer beater, we were talking about how us in Lakerland haven't had that feeling in a long time. After he shot that shot, what did he say? None other than Kobe is what he said after he hit the shot. So now let's go through some of our favorite Laker buzzer beaters of all times. You got one you want to start with, Brandon Red?
I mean, you know what? I don't know if you got any on you can bring up, but it's been, how many of them has it been, Dane, throughout a buzzer beater Laker win in a playoff game? How many has it been?
I think we had like 5 or 6 of them in a modern era.
In a modern era, or we got like 2 that before any of us was born. I think Elgin Baylor and Jerry West hit a couple that we can't bring up on YouTube. But my favorite personally is Robert Horry's shot. I mean, that was that's always would be my favorite because we got a championship that year, and where I was at, who I was with, watching it as a 13-year-old kid, we was watching it out in the camping trip with a TV set, a satellite, and a TV set out in the middle of nowhere. That's a big deal back then because we didn't have TVs everywhere like we do now and phones and stuff. You could just watch the game. So having the game out while you're camping was a big deal. So that was like, they're never gonna be beat. There it is right there as he come down.
Look, Kobe going hard to the hole.
Right. Kobe got it.
Yaggett.
Right. And who was against, beating the Kings? They were so annoying. They were that annoying ass team. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's always be my favorite.
That was significant because that made the series 2-2 instead of 3-1 for Sacramento.
Right.
Hey, I just noticed for the first time watching that clip? Kobe had to look at a shot and Shaq had to look at a shot and missed. And then Robert Horry hit it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's great. Like both of our stars had to look at the shot and miss. And Robert Horry came through and saved today. And I think not only did that change the trajectory of our dynasty, that changed the trajectory of everybody's legend in Laker lore, because that's where Robert Horry became Big Shot Rod for us. And I didn't think we were gonna get past the Kings. It was tough. The Kings, that was a tough series. I think that was probably the hardest series I ever watched the Lakers play. Even when we lost versus Boston Celtics, I still feel like that Kings win was tougher to get. What about you, Quincy? Is there anything that comes to mind for you?
Well, first I got to mention my honorable mention because although it wasn't a buzzard shot, it was a dagger, and it was like the first time I fell in love as a Laker fan. That was Magic hook shot in the Boston Garden.
Yeah, the baby hook.
I think it was still 2 or 3 seconds left on the clock, something like that. But that shot, that was like the beginning of my Laker fandom from that point on. But probably my favorite, because I was shocked and I was surprised, probably the point forward. That was one of those things where if it wasn't Derek Fisher, it doesn't go in because only a left-hand player could have made that shot. You have to be a left-hand shooter to make that shot because if you're left-handed, your shoulder and elbow is already lined up with the basket. So anybody else that was right-handed, it would have been a much more difficult shot, probably would have been more wide. So, and the fact that, San Antonio did the smart thing. They had 2 players on Kobe because they knew we was looking for Kobe, and Fish come around, man. And I remember watching that shit and running down the street because everybody like completely shocked that, because that came right after. It kind of reminded me of yesterday game because right before that, Tim Duncan had hit a off balance fadeaway right in Shaq's face,
Right.
with the point forward. So it was like, and then you see two. They had like Bruce Bourne, somebody else. They like pretty much surrounded Kobe. Hell, they brought players out of retirement. George Gervin was on Kobe. They had Dave Kobe. Paul Pressey. Hey, they just everybody was on Kobe. And D Fish, man. D Fish come around, and like I said, only a left-hand shooter could have made that. And I just remember them just taking off running, not even waiting for the replay, not just taking off running. Here it is right here. Like, that's pretty good defense by Shaq.
Yeah, and I thought we was done. That
was pretty good defense. Look at Phil. Phil unbothered. Most coaches just really like, look.
They grabbed Kobe. Kobe was not getting that ball, dog.
No. Look, and Fish just, that's my favorite part. Fish just take off running. The crazy thing about that I mean, I don't think a lot of people remember. We were 2-0. The Spurs had us. After that,
we were down 0-2 to them. Yeah,
3 times.
Yeah,
that shot was gonna put them up 3-0.
No, that shot would have put them. Up. I think 3-1, right? Because we won the game before that, right?
Yeah, but
we won the game before that. Yeah, we were down 0-2 though, and that game tied it up 2-2, and then we closed them out the next 2 games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that because nobody expected Derek Fisher. It kind of goes back to the Robert Horry shot. That's the thing about that team that we always waver about when we get on people like Kuz, Danny Green, who call people bandwagon. Like, we used to our role players stepping up in the most crucial moments. Like, you could probably look and find in every championship run except 2001, where they just slaughtered everybody, where a role player hit a big shot, whether it was Brian Shaw in 2000, where you could constantly find where those role players stepped up at very key moments. So I'm quite sure we got 6 games left that somebody gonna have to hit a big shot outside of
Caruso tried to do it. Caruso tried his best.
Caruso was gonna do it, and he had dunked before that. It was Caruso.
Hey, you know what? We could talk about him. I thought he played great yesterday. I really think like I know they was cracking jokes calling him Gary Payton and all types, but look, his confidence, hey, you know what? His confidence is like, you could tell like he feel he's the best defensive player on the court.
Yeah.
And even though it might not be true, it doesn't matter. He feels that way, and he's playing like it. And
he really filled that Avery Bradley void that we thought was going to leave a big hole. Like, that's the one thing we thought. We thought like, losing Avery Bradley is going to be a huge blow to us, and we thought that when the first game in Portland came, we were like, see, but
right. And more than most people, y'all, Dame and Q, y'all had to talk me off the ledge, more or less. Like, AB, we gonna be all right. We was 18-2 without him. I was panicking.
Avery Bradley was like number 1 on perimeter shooters against him. Caruso was like 4 on the same list, or 5, something like that.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. He's been playing great. But I want to talk about one memory from the Lakers buzzer beater life that I just, I can't let us have this day without talking about and showing it, was that Celtics, my man, Meta World Peace. You know what I mean? Like, this is what made LA love him, and it's gonna make LA love him forever. Oh no, that's the wrong. Hold on.
That's Phoenix.
Oh, let's go on and play that one then. Hold on, let's go on and play that one, man. That's the Kobe.
Is that's when he?
That's the Phoenix. That's the Phoenix buzzer beater for Ron Artest in the 2010.
He caught the rebound.
Oh man. Sorry, we having technical difficulties. It's being weird right now.
But that Celtic game wasn't a buzzer beater. That was like a dagger, though.
That's another honorable mention right there. Yeah.
Another honorable mention. It was a dagger, though.
And this is big because the series is tied 2-2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we about to lose home court.
Yeah.
Or Bean. I don't know. Bean about to come in.
Is that him up under the court?
I think so. Yeah. Is he hiding under the screen right there?
All right, it's not playing it, man.
It's not playing it. Hey, well, we can break it down though. We can break it down.
Break it down.
We can break. So Kobe's at the top of the 3-point line. They set a backside pick for him. He comes off. He catches it, throws up the shot. Of course, Kobe wants the last shot. He doesn't make it, and Meta World Peace sneaks in, grabs it, and all in one motion throws it back in at the buzzer to beat the Suns at the buzzer. Go up 3-2. And of course, we go to Phoenix the next game. That's the game where Kobe smacked Alvin Gentry in the butt after making like some crazy shots to close him out.
Crazy in that next game.
He wasn't about to go to Game 7. Yeah,
no,
he wasn't about to go to Game 7. So, but I mean, if we don't, he doesn't hit that buzzer beater, we have to go to Game 7 and win that series because we're down 3-2 at that point. So that was one of the, that was the last buzzer beater too, right, Dane? That was the last one before AD shot last night. So yeah.
And Kobe had another one against Phoenix.
Yeah.
That was that year we went up 3-1 on them as the 7th seed.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Laker fans, we really been blessed over the years with some great moments and shots.
Oh, here it is. There you go, Q. Let's talk about that defense by Luke, though. Another role player to getting the jump ball right there. We needed that steal or that jump ball.
Hey, I see this is a very familiar look on Mike D'Antoni's face right here.
Very familiar. They gotta jump it up.
Yeah, that was smart by Luke Walton to tie up Steve Nash. Man, Luke can't jump, but he could definitely jump higher than Steve Nash.
Right,
that's probably about it.
And he actually didn't jump higher than Steve Nash. He got 2 tips. Pause.
Oh, he completely set him up. Boop. He knew exactly what he was going. He knew in it from the time he got the ball that he was going to that spot.
Oh yeah, he knew. I love it when they just walk off the court like, yeah, we don't even want to see the replay. Like it's a wrap.
Yeah, but that's why I love D Fish, because when it happens in other spots, like in San Antonio, and the crowd is just cheering, and all of a sudden they just mute.
Yeah.
And everybody's taking off, running off the court, like F y'all.
Yeah.
It's like the best moment.
Jack.
Stop showing his ass, because Tim Thomas had a lucky ass shot that series.
Oh my God, man.
Still mad at Lamar Odom about that.
Right.
Hey, man, I remember the day watching that game. Me and my brothers running around the whole house after he hit that shot. I mean, literally jumped up and had a damn track meet in our house, like running full speed through the house, just screaming when Kobe hit that shot, man. So let me ask y'all, do y'all think in the next game we're going to close the door on these guys? Do you think if we have a Game 3 win, we close the doors on these guys? Do you think we'll do it? Or do you think this is when they'll sneak that one game in that we think they might get?
I think we go out and win this game. I think I think Q, you said it the last show that the Lakers smell blood. We expected a better game 2, right? So we snuck in we were able to beat them in Game 2, not playing our best basketball. So I mean, I don't see why they would come out with any type of lackadaisical or unfundamentally sound turnovers or anything like that kept them in the game. So I would expect LeBron to have a way better game. So LeBron have a better game. AD keep doing what we're doing. We should win Game 3 and like really put on their throat. Q.
Yeah, I think the Lakers win tomorrow. if the game Denver needed to win was yesterday, I think they definitely going to come out hard tomorrow. Hopefully the Lakers do a better job at reading how the refs calling the game and put them in the bonus. But I kind of like the formula of yesterday's game. LeBron dominate the first half, AD dominate the second half. That's kind of how it used to be with Kobe and Shaq, except, it was Shaq for 3 quarters and Kobe in the fourth. So I think the Lakers is going to try to finish them off. I think that was the water in the face. Like, okay, Denver's not going to go away easy. So they know they have to come out tomorrow and put them away.
Yeah, I think they'll put them away too. Worldwide Laker Talk, Worldwide Laker Gang for Life, post-game and pre-game. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can go like, subscribe, and share. If you're watching this on Facebook, like, subscribe, and share. If you're on Twitter, retweet us, like, subscribe, and share. We're trying to spread the word for all our Laker fans and our Laker faithfuls, breaking the games down the way y'all want them to be broken down. For the fans, by the fans. This is Worldwide Laker Talk. Hopefully, we'll be seeing you guys after a Game 3 victory. And in honor of that,
Kobe.
Mamba Mondays, let's take them out with the Kobe highlights. See y'all next time. Worldwide Laker Talk, Worldwide Laker Gang for Life. We out of here.
It's about what doing it big or going home. I'm focused on my plan, in my mind in the zone. I wanna be one of the greatest that ever made it, one of the best that did it, coming with it. Understand this is all I think about, all I ever wanna do, all I ever worked for. So ain't no giving up.